So it is the off season, so I guess that's the perfect time for us to be doing boat projects. And whenever I have projects to do, I always turn to the lovely Maureen.
Hello.
You know Maureen from previous videos, and you're probably surprised that not only is she good at cooking, but she has all the tools, and she's going to walk us through this project.
Okay, so what we have here is a pilot chair that has seen better days. You see we've got some foam issues in here, but the biggest part is that the wood that is the base for the chair is all degraded because weather and boats. It's going to happen. So what we're going to start with is my handy dandy staple puller. If you don't choose to invest in a staple puller, that's what flathead screwdrivers are for. So this will make short work of getting the staples out. And here it's particularly easy because we've got not a lot of tension in the wood that's holding those staples in anymore. Important thing to do before you completely remove the upholstery, especially where you have corners like this, take a picture of how the fabric was wrapped around so you know how they dealt with corners, where the tucks were, which parts went above and below, so that when you put it back together, you just follow that map and you'll have the same look from the front, and you don't end up with something messy back here.
Genius.
Okay, so we're taking the batting off of this rolled part to try to figure out what the construction was and how they did it. And again, you use glue so that these things stay together. And it can make it a little bit difficult to remove, but it looks like we have two pieces here. We've got one piece here in kind of a wedge shape, and then this looks like they took a very thick piece and kind of carved it away from the bottom to create this curved area and a nice rounded and firm front to the seat. So this is a pretty, even after the number of years it's been in service, what was it, 22?
Yeah.
The foam, you want to replace it because you're hoping to get another 20 years out of the next chair, but it's actually not in bad shape considering. But we did lose some of it as we ripped it off the wood because it was glued, so it's going to need to be replaced. And that's going to take a little bit of carving. We made it a little bit longer.
So we debated whether to get harder wood or something marine grade, but in the end we had trouble finding stuff and went with just the standard plywood. And we will be using a fiberglass resin to waterproof that a bit.
Step is going to be to cut your wood. We're going to, okay, I'm going to also pull the, oh God, yeah, all right, well, this one, or shape. Then here we got a situation where we're missing some. That's not straight. Of course. There she blows.
Do we epoxy everything first and then do stuff, or?
That's the question. Okay, so now we've got our two pieces of the seat cut, and the way it was originally set up was this skirt to the seat attached to the front like this with screws, and then the upholstery went across the top and then wrapped around and underneath, so you get nice cushion wherever the captain's legs rest. Now, since these are going to be treated with the epoxy solution, we're trying to decide now whether we want to do the epoxy solution before attaching, which seems like the thing to do. Make sure all your edges are covered and all of that stuff, especially because you're going to be screwing into this, and it makes sense to get as much protection in there as you can. And then probably what we'll do is after we screw this to the front, maybe just put a little bit more of the resin over to let it drip in and get around where the screws went in. Just, you know, extend the time we get to use this under our butts on the Pane Vino.
We're all done with using power tools, so it seems like the perfect time to enjoy a little bit of wine.
So in addition to being the resident craftsperson for the Pane Vino, its general counsel, and the galley wench, I'm apparently the sommelier. So today we are enjoying a Eulacia Chacolina wine from Spain. If you're wondering how in the hell do you spell Chacolina, T-X-A-K-O-L-I-N-A, pronounced Chacolina. It is a lightly effervescent white wine, very refreshing, lovely, would make a fantastic drink while sitting on the deck of your boat.
Okay, so I get to do the easy part actually. Going to drill some holes in the piece of wood for the seat. Got a couple of holes there matching what was in there before, which helps ventilate, so if any water gets in there it has a way to get out, so the foam in there doesn't mold and get rotten. So I'm going to drill a few holes in here, and then we're going to put the epoxy on here. So we're going to coat it with fiberglass type epoxy resin that you would use in a fiberglass without the glass, to kind of seal it out from any type of moisture. The old stuff had it on there and it was there for 25 years until it started rotting away. And I suspect, actually, I know pretty much for sure that when it was in charter that seat was never covered in the rain. In fact, it was probably uncovered at the beginning of the season and spent the entire summers with the cover off when we always covered it. So it again, it started to fall apart on us really quick this last season here. So I'm going to drill a couple holes. So I'm going to pre-drill some holes in here so that when we do epoxy it, the epoxy will get in there. I'm going to drill those a little bit larger than the screw themselves, but then when we go into the plywood here, we're going to drill just a little bit wider than the shaft itself so that the threads can dig into here and hold this into here that way. Now it's time to mix in the epoxy. It's a 1-to-1 as far as the size of the container. If we were to use all of this, we would be using all of the hardener. So I have to kind of estimate how much we got. So pour some in here.
Okay, so it looks like the project is back with me. I am going to work on making the foam for the seat. I ordered some foam on Amazon, but you can get it at any craft store or fabric store. And I got 2-inch foam and 4-inch foam. And we are going to work on just using the old pieces as a template and replacing this old foam with something new and nice and fresh. Okay, so I have my pieces cut out and glued together. Full disclosure, this is the second piece that I did because the first piece I did, I started to carve it and I was just chunking it up. So I think I'm going to leave it the way it is and just see if when I wrap it with the batting, if that actually brings it to the shape versus cutting it into a shape. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm going to go outside and glue this. Okay, I have glued the foam to the seat form, and I've gone ahead and cut out some batting, just regular quilting batting. Cut it slightly larger than what you need so you can wrap it. And I'm going to do this in 2 sections because I want to have it wrapped, because there's a differentiation on there. I want it to be rounded on this edge. So I am going to wrap these separately, and the batting just makes it like tight and rounds the edges and provides a little extra cushioning. Yeah, so fun fact, we had to buy a new stapler for this project, because the stapler that I had, apparently they no longer make stainless steel staples for it. So that was kind of annoying because now we have 2 tools just for this project. Second fun fact, I am fully up to date on my tetanus shot because the last time I used the staple gun, I stapled my finger. So I redid the chairs in COVID. So yeah, dining room chairs, but they look great, right? So yeah, so be careful when you use the tools. Okay, so now for the moment of truth. We have stapled everything and put the batting around it, although I wanted this edge to be a little more rounded, so we'll see how that goes. But now it's time to see if it fits back into the cover. It's pretty good, and hopefully it'll tighten up when we staple it, but I think it's a 2-person job. Oh, you have to turn it on, and do not staple me. Okay, so here's the final product. What I didn't show you was I ripped it all back apart and added just a little extra right here because I didn't like the gap. But I don't know if it's not beautiful on the back, but that'll just go right on. And there you go. That's it.